today is going to be a little bit different than the last one. Only one of you will walk out here alive. Good luck. Maybe I see you later.
Finish her! Let me go!
If you want to go free, finish her off.
Hello, Recapers. Today's movie starts in a school where Mallory soon bumps into a gang of 3 girls led by Nanita. Nanita accuses Mallory of reporting her to a teacher, but Mallory defends herself, saying she only answered a teacher's question and would be more careful next time. However, Nanita isn't having any of it. She seems really angry and wants to get back at Mallory. To avoid trouble, Mallory runs away and reaches a bridge surrounded by water. There, Nanita calls her different names and suddenly pushes her to the ground. She talks about fighting Mallory, and when Mallory stands up, it doesn't take long before she's punched in the face. Blood soon drips from Mallory's nose. Seeing Mallory in pain seems to amuse Nanita and her friends. Monita then takes out a phone and films Mallory. She insults her, spits on her, and tells her to go back to the United States. Bonita soon posts the video and even announces that people are already watching it. Mallory remains hurt on the ground but doesn't try to retaliate until Nanita says something else about her. Mallory then picks up an object and hits Nanita, but she is unable to do more before a man arrives to stop her. Later, Mallory leaves the police station with her uncle Tommy, who is initially silent before saying things aren't looking good for her. Mallory tries to defend herself, explaining that Nanita attacked her first. When they get home, Tommy receives a call informing him that Mallory has been expelled from school. He tells her, but she says nothing and continues staring at a bottle of pills and wine on the table. Before leaving the room, Tommy tells Mallory she needs to try to fit in, even though they are in a different country. However, she isn't paying attention. After he leaves, she takes all the pills from the bottle and swallows them, then heads outside. It doesn't take long for her to lose consciousness after walking a few steps. An ambulance arrives and takes her to the hospital, where a doctor tells Tommy that she is fine and has no serious problems. Tommy then wakes her, telling her she gave him a scare. After she is discharged, Mallory and Tommy go to court with their lawyer. The judge sentences Mallory to 2 years in a correctional facility, stating that it is a fair judgment. Mallory is also required to pay a large fine. With nothing else to do, they return home so Mallory can pack her things. Tommy then drives her to prison. Upon arrival, a woman named Sky takes them to meet the warden. The warden explains that Mallory will be treated well and kept safe, without even feeling like she is in prison. Afterward, Mallory says goodbye to Tommy outside. She cries, and Tommy promises to do everything he can to get her out and to stay in touch. Once he leaves, Sky takes Mallory inside. The cells and inmates don't look welcoming, but Sky assures her that everything is normal. Soon, an inmate named Riz notices Mallory and begins harassing her, saying she can't do anything. Another inmate, Belle, steps in to help, though she doesn't seem interested in Mallory's gratitude. Sky then takes Mallory to her cell and instructs her to change into prison clothes. Although she feels shy, her cellmate Kat tells her not to worry. After changing, Mallory is given her schedule. Kat asks why she is in prison, and Mallory explains. However, when Mallory asks Kat the same question, Kat angrily tells her to mind her own business. At lunch, Kat invites Mallory to sit with her while Riz watches them. Kat tells Mallory that Riz killed her entire family, which shocks her. She also explains that the prison is corrupt and even hosts fight nights where inmates are forced to fight for entertainment. Riz soon approaches again and harasses Mallory, but Kat defends her until a guard intervenes. Kat tells Mallory she needs to learn how to fight. Later, Mallory calls Tommy, asking him to help get her out. He agrees, but their conversation is cut short. Mallory is then taken to the warden, who asks her to sign documents written in a language she doesn't understand. When Mallory hesitates and asks to contact Tommy or her lawyer, the warden insists it's nothing serious and that her sentence won't begin until she signs. Reluctantly, Mallory signs the papers. The next day, Sky assigns Mallory work, and she chooses to scrub floors. While working, Riz attacks her again, punching her in the face. Later, Kat notices the injury and confronts Riz, leading to a fight that guards quickly break up. That night, Kat is returned to her cell looking badly hurt. Mallory protests to the warden about the brutal treatment, but she is warned to stay silent. The warden then forces Mallory into a fight, telling her to toughen up and prepare for an upcoming match in 2 weeks. Determined, Mallory asks Belle to train her. Belle initially refuses, but gives her a difficult condition to prove herself. Though discouraged, Mallory tries to imitate Belle's moves. Later, Mallory attempts to call Tommy again. A guard initially refuses, but Skye allows it while warning her not to report the warden. During the call, Tommy reveals that Mallory has signed away her visitation rights. Mallory realizes she was tricked into signing those papers but cannot explain it. After the call, Skye takes Mallory to the basement, where she is forced to undress. When she hesitates, a guard hits her. The warden arrives and reveals that Mallory's wealthy father has refused to pay money, and as a result, Mallory will be punished. Despite her pleas, the warden orders the guards to assault her. Afterward, the warden warns that worse will happen if the money isn't paid. Shaken, Mallory is taken to shower, where she attempts to hang herself but fails. Skye finds her and takes her back to her cell. The warden later reminds her that her fight is approaching and that she must train. Kat begins helping Mallory train, and over time, they grow closer. Eventually, they share an intimate moment. Kat later reveals that her ex-boyfriend led her into trouble and ultimately to prison, and Mallory offers her comfort. Mallory continues training and gradually improves. Even Belle begins to notice her progress and acknowledges her effort in the gym. Later, while Kat is helping Mallory train, the warden arrives and tells Mallory that since she is now stronger, it's time to set up an exhibition fight before her main match. Mallory insists she isn't ready, but she has no choice and is taken to the fighting area. Surprisingly, her opponent turns out to be Nanita, who has somehow ended up in prison. This immediately catches Mallory's interest. The fight begins, and both exchange heavy blows, with Nanita initially gaining the upper hand. However, Mallory soon overpowers her and beats her until she is nearly unconscious. The warden watches with clear enjoyment, while a guard films the fight. The next day, Mallory is summoned to the warden's office. The warden praises her victory, saying the fight attracted many viewers and that people liked her performance. She then informs Mallory that her uncle managed to arrange a visit, but warns her not to mention anything about the prison, threatening to have Tommy killed if she does. The warden gives Mallory 2 options. Tommy can pay for her freedom, or she can fight Riz for it. Mallory chooses the fight. Mallory then meets Tommy, who is visibly shaken by her bruised appearance. He asks how she is doing, but she cannot speak freely with Skye standing behind her. Tommy urges her to call her father, saying he is powerful enough to help, but Mallory refuses and even insults her father before storming off. Later, while training in the gym, the warden revokes Mallory's gym privileges. Confused, Mallory leaves and continues training in her cell. Kat suggests that the warden wants her to lose the upcoming fight. The next day, while Riz is in the gym, the warden has her injected with a substance and orders her to kill Mallory during the fight in exchange for her freedom. Meanwhile, Belle advises Mallory to stay mentally strong if she wants to defeat Riz. At lunch, the guards refuse to serve Mallory and prevent Kat from sharing food with her. That night, starving, Mallory resorts to eating a rat in their cell, much to Kat's disgust. Fight night finally arrives. The warden announces that only one fighter will survive. Kat, Belle, and other inmates gather to watch, along with a guard filming the event. The fight begins, and both women demonstrate their strength, brutally attacking each other. Eventually, Mallory manages to knock Riz to the ground. The warden orders Mallory to finish her off, but Mallory hesitates and yells at her. The warden then offers to make things easier and hands her a knife. Mallory pretends to comply, lifting Riz and appearing ready to slit her throat. Instead, she uses the moment to distract the warden and the guards. Mallory suddenly grabs the warden and threatens to kill her if the guards intervene. The warden still tries to resist, but Mallory stabs her. She then orders the guards to drop their weapons and hand them over to Kat, while keeping one for herself. With the situation under control, Mallory and the others make their way out, using the wounded warden as leverage. Outside, Kat retrieves the keys to the warden's car and brings it around. Mallory hands the warden over to Riz and the other inmates, who begin attacking her as she begs for mercy. Kat pulls up with the car and Mallory jumps in, telling her to drive to the U.S. Embassy. Kat speeds away. And that's how our story ends. What did you think about the ending? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown.